I stared at my phone, heart racing, as the anonymous message blinked on the screen. It felt like a punch to my gut, the words echoing in my mind. "Oliver is cheating on you." I had to read it again, and again. Each time, the truth settled heavier in my chest. How could this be happening? I thought we were happy. I thought I knew him. I glanced around the room, searching for something familiar to anchor me. The pictures on the wall, us hiking in the mountains, laughing at some inside joke, our wedding day where I felt like the luckiest woman alive, now felt like cruel reminders of the life I thought we shared. I wanted to scream, to cry, but all I could feel was a cold, hard anger mixing with disbelief. What should I do? Should I confront him directly? My mind raced with possibilities. I could call him right now and demand the truth, but what if he denied it? What if he turned it all back on me, made me feel like I was the crazy one? I needed to think this through. I needed a plan. I closed my eyes and took a deep breath, trying to calm the whirlwind of emotions inside me. I thought back to the moments we had together, the nights we spent talking until dawn, the way he used to look at me with such love. Could he really betray me like this? "Why, Oliver?" I whispered to myself, feeling an ache in my throat. It was hard to reconcile the man I loved with the one who could hurt me so deeply. I remembered how he promised he would never lie to me. Had all those words been empty? The realization began to take shape within me. I did not want to be a victim. I wanted to reclaim my power, to uncover the truth, no matter how painful it might be. I had to expose his betrayal. I couldn't let him continue living a lie while I suffered in silence. As I paced the room, I felt a surge of resolve. I would not be broken by this. I would find out everything. I would confront him, not as the scared woman who had just discovered her husband's infidelity, but as a warrior ready to fight for her own dignity. Suddenly, my phone buzzed again, and I flinched. It was a message from Oliver, asking when I would be home. I looked at the clock. He would be home soon. My heart raced again, but this time it was with determination. I would not let him walk through that door and act like everything was normal. I took a deep breath, steeling myself. A confrontation was inevitable. I could either let him keep lying to me, or I could face the truth head on. The stakes were high, but I felt a strength building inside me. "Do you even care about what you've done?" I imagined asking him, the words dripping with the hurt I felt. Would he flinch at the accusation? Would he try to charm his way out of it? With my heart pounding, I started to prepare for his arrival. I set the table for dinner, but my mind was racing far ahead. I thought of the evidence I had, the message that shattered my world. I would not let him dismiss my feelings or make me doubt myself. Just then, I spotted our favorite bottle of wine. I grabbed it, pouring a glass for myself, hoping it would give me some courage. "This is it," I whispered, looking at the glass as if it held my future. No more lies, no more silence. As I waited for him to come home, I could feel the tension in the air. The clock ticked loudly, each second stretching into an eternity. I was ready. I would make him face the truth. The door opened, and there he was, smiling, blissfully unaware of the storm brewing inside me. I felt a rush of adrenaline. The moment of truth was here. Would he be able to maintain his facade when I revealed the reality of his betrayal? I was about to find out. The sun hung low in the sky, casting a warm glow through our dining room window. I stood in the kitchen, nervously stirring the sauce for dinner. Tonight was the night. I had spent hours preparing a meal that would serve as the perfect backdrop for the confrontation I had been dreading and anticipating all at once. The table was set, the candles flickered softly, and the aroma of food filled the air. But beneath the surface, my heart raced with a mix of fear and determination. When I heard the front door creak open, I took a deep breath. Oliver walked in, his usual bright smile plastered across his face. "Hey there, beautiful. What's for dinner?" he asked, completely unaware of the storm brewing inside me. Just your favorite, I replied, forcing a smile. I thought we could have a nice evening together. As he settled into his chair, I felt my stomach twist. I was about to shatter the illusion of our perfect life. While we ate, I watched him enjoy the meal, his laughter ringing in my ears like a mocking tune. I wanted to scream, to throw the evidence of his betrayal right in front of him, but I held on to my resolve. I needed to do this right. Oliver, can we talk? I finally managed to say, my voice steady despite the turmoil inside. Sure, what's on your mind? He looked at me quizzically. A forkful of pasta paused mid-air. I took a deep breath, my heart pounding like a drum. I know about her. His expression faltered for a moment, surprise flickering in his eyes before he quickly masked it with a smirk. What are you talking about? Don't play games with me, Oliver. I have proof. I reached into my pocket and pulled out my phone, sliding it across the table. I found your messages. He glanced down, his smile fading as he read the words that would change everything. This is ridiculous, he scoffed, shaking his head. You can't believe everything you see. Don't act like I'm the crazy one here. You think I'm just going to ignore this? I leaned forward, my voice steady. You have been lying to me. The change in his demeanor was palpable. He shifted in his seat, the confidence he had moments ago now replaced by a cold, calculating stare. You're making a big mistake, you know. This isn't what you think it is. What do you mean? I challenged, my pulse quickening. You think I'm going to back down? You've betrayed my trust and I deserve the truth. His eyes narrowed, and for a brief moment, I saw a glimpse of the man I thought I knew. You're turning this into something it doesn't need to be. You're the one who is making this difficult. I felt a chill run down my spine. Difficult? You think this is difficult for you? I couldn't help but laugh, though it felt hollow. You've been living a double life, and I'm the one who has to deal with the wreckage of your choices. He leaned back in his chair, arms crossed, his expression shifting to one of disdain. You really think you can expose me? You don't even know what you're getting into. A wave of anger surged through me. You don't get to manipulate me anymore. I'm not afraid of you, Oliver. You see me as the enemy now, but I'm just reclaiming my power. His lips curled into a smirk again, but it didn't reach his eyes. You think you're strong, but all I see is desperation. I felt a fire ignite within me. It was a fierce determination to stand my ground. You may try to twist this, but I won't let you turn this around on me. I deserve better than this betrayal. Silence hung heavily between us, and in that moment, I realized I wasn't just fighting for the truth. I was fighting for myself. The weight of his manipulation was starting to lift, and I felt a sense of clarity wash over me. This was the turning point, and I had to see it through. As I stared into his eyes, I knew I had to hold on to this moment. I would not be a silent victim any longer. I would confront the lies and reclaim my narrative, no matter how difficult it might be. As I stood in the kitchen, the smell of fresh flowers and baked goods filled the air. Oliver's birthday party was meant to be a celebration, but I had a different plan in mind. I carefully arranged the balloons and decorations, each one a reminder of the perfect image I had crafted for our life together. Little did everyone know, this party would become a stage for the truth to unfold. I looked in the mirror, my heart racing with a mixture of excitement and anxiety. You can do this, I whispered to myself, trying to calm the storm inside. I could picture Oliver walking through the door, his charming smile lighting up the room, completely unaware of the emotional chess game I had set in motion. When the guests started to arrive, I felt the tension in my chest tighten. My closest friends, Sarah and Lily, walked in, their eyes sparkling with joy. This looks amazing, Sarah exclaimed, admiring the decorations. You really outdid yourself. Thanks. I just wanted everything to be perfect, I replied, forcing a smile. Inside, I wondered if they could sense the underlying tension. I had shared my plans with them, and they supported me, but the reality of what I was about to do weighed heavily on my heart. As the clock ticked closer to the moment of truth, I busied myself with last-minute details. I could hear Oliver's laughter echoing from the living room, filling me with both dread and determination. Time to put on the show, I thought. When the moment finally came, I gathered everyone around the table, where the cake sat proudly in the center. Oliver beamed at me, his eyes sparkling with pride. "You always know how to throw a great party," he said, leaning in for a kiss. I could not return his affection, knowing what was about to unfold. After everyone sang happy birthday, I took a deep breath and stood up. "I have something important to share," I announced, my voice steady despite the butterflies in my stomach. The room fell silent, all eyes on me. Oliver's smile faltered slightly, but he quickly masked it with curiosity. "What is it, babe?" he asked, his voice dripping with false innocence. I reached into my bag and pulled out the evidence of his betrayal, the messages, the photos, everything that laid bare his deceit. "This is what I have to share," I started, showing the screen to the crowd. "Oliver, you may want to explain this." Gasps filled the room as I watched his face transform from confusion to arrogance. "What is this nonsense?" he spat, trying to regain control. "You're just making a scene." "No, I'm not making a scene. I'm revealing the truth," I replied, feeling empowered as I continued. "You've been living a double life, and it's about time everyone knows." I glanced around the room, feeling the weight of every gaze. Friends whispered to each other, their faces a mix of shock and disbelief. "Is this true, Oliver?" Sarah asked, her voice trembling. He scoffed. "You can't believe her. She's just trying to ruin my birthday." But I pressed on. "You've betrayed not only me, but everyone here." I could see the arrogance in his eyes start to crumble as the reality of his actions sunk in. "This isn't just about us anymore. It's about the trust you've shattered with everyone who cared about you." As I stood there, recounting the details of his betrayals, I felt a shift in the atmosphere. The celebratory air turned heavy with tension, and for the first time, I felt like I was in control. "You may have thought you could hide this, but the truth always comes out," I declared, my voice unwavering. Oliver's expression turned to one of disdain. "You're making a fool of yourself," he sneered, but I could see the cracks in his facade. The bravado he had relied on was slipping away. In that moment, I realized I was no longer a silent victim. I was reclaiming my power, and the energy in the room had changed. Guests exchanged shocked glances, and some even started to clap, a wave of support washing over me. "Thank you for showing us who he really is," Lily said, standing beside me. "We're here for you." I felt a rush of strength as I faced Oliver one last time. "You may have thought you could manipulate me forever, but today I'm choosing to expose the truth." The room erupted in murmurs, and I could see the shame etched on his face. As I looked around at my friends, I knew this was not just a confrontation. It was a turning point. The party had transformed into an emotional reckoning, and I was finally ready to embrace the truth. The party ended in chaos. I stood in the center of the room, my heart racing, as the guests slowly began to disperse. Their shocked faces were forever etched in my memory. I could still hear the murmurs, the whispers of disbelief, and the way Oliver's expression morphed from arrogance to utter humiliation. It felt surreal, like a scene from a movie I never wanted to be a part of. "Can you believe that?" Sarah, one of my closest friends, said as she approached me. Her eyes were wide, filled with concern. "I had no idea he was like that." I nodded, still catching my breath. "Neither did I. It's like I was living in a dream, and now I'm awake, but it feels so different." "Different how?" she asked, tilting her head. "Bittersweet," I admitted. "I feel victorious, but there's still this ache inside. It's hard to explain." I paused, trying to find the right words. I thought revealing the truth would heal everything, but it doesn't erase the hurt. Sarah placed a comforting hand on my shoulder. "You're not alone in this. We're all here for you. You showed so much strength tonight. You deserve to feel proud." Her words sparked a flicker of warmth in my chest. I had faced Oliver and exposed him for who he truly was. I had taken back my power. But the victory felt lonely, like a hollow triumph. I needed to process everything that had happened and what it meant for my future. As the last of the guests filtered out, I found Oliver standing by the open door, his face pale and his eyes cold. The sight of him made my stomach twist. The man I thought I knew was gone, replaced by someone I barely recognized. "Why did you do that?" he sneered, his voice low and dangerous. "You didn't have to ruin my birthday like this." I took a deep breath, steadying myself. "You ruined it long before tonight, Oliver. You made your choices, and I simply revealed them. You can't blame me for your actions." He stepped closer, trying to intimidate me. "You think this makes you strong? You're just a pathetic woman who couldn't handle the truth." I felt a surge of anger rise within me. "No, Oliver. I'm the woman who finally sees the truth. I will not let you dictate my worth anymore." I stood taller, feeling a sense of clarity wash over me. "You may have humiliated me once, but I refuse to let you do it again." With that, I turned my back on him and walked away, leaving him standing alone in the doorway. I could hear his frustrated growl behind me, but I didn't look back. I had taken the first step toward reclaiming my life, and I wasn't going to let him drag me down anymore. In the days that followed, I found myself surrounded by friends and family who rallied around me. They offered their support, and I felt their love enveloping me like a warm blanket. I needed that comfort more than I realized. "Let's go grab coffee," my sister suggested one afternoon. "You need to talk about this." As we sat across from each other in the little cafe, I found myself sharing everything: the shock, the betrayal, and the bittersweet victory. "I thought I would feel happy after exposing him, but it feels like I'm still grieving," I confessed, stirring my coffee absent-mindedly. My sister listened intently. "It's normal to feel that way. You loved him, and it's okay to miss the good times, even if they're tainted now. But remember, you're not that woman anymore. You're stronger than you think." Her words hung in the air, and for the first time, I felt a flicker of hope. Yes, I had been hurt, but I was also healing. I was on a path to understanding my worth. As I returned home, I reflected on the cost of Oliver's betrayal. I had lost a part of myself, but I was beginning to see that I could rebuild. I promised myself that I would embrace this newfound strength and independence. I would never again let someone else dictate how I saw myself. I stood in front of the mirror, looking at my reflection. "You are enough," I whispered, and for the first time, I believed it. I was ready to step into the future, stronger and more resilient than ever before. As I sat on my couch, staring blankly at the wall, I felt the weight of my emotions crash around me like waves. The betrayal had left me bruised, and every day seemed like a new struggle. I struggled to find my footing in a world that felt so different from the one I had known. I took a deep breath and reminded myself that healing was not a straight path. "Today is the day," I whispered to myself, trying to muster some courage. I decided to step outside and take a walk. The fresh air would do me good. I pulled on a light jacket and headed out, feeling the cool breeze brush against my skin. With each step, I felt a little lighter, as if the weight of my past was slowly lifting. As I walked through the park, I noticed families enjoying the sunshine and children playing with laughter filling the air. It reminded me of the simple joys I had once cherished. I felt a spark of something I hadn't felt in a while: hope. My heart started to flutter as I approached a small art station in the park. The colorful canvases and art supplies brought back memories of my love for painting. Why not? I thought. I hadn't picked up a brush in months. I walked over, and a kind woman smiled at me. "Would you like to join us?" she asked, her voice warm and inviting. Sure," I replied, feeling a mix of excitement and nervousness. I picked up a brush and started to paint. The colors flowed together, and for the first time since Oliver's betrayal, I felt something shift inside me. Each stroke was like a release, and I could feel the tension melting away. "Wow, you have a talent," the woman said, glancing at my canvas. "What inspired you?" I paused, thinking about the emotions I had poured onto the canvas. "I guess I'm just trying to find myself again," I confessed. "That's beautiful. Art has a way of helping us heal," she said, nodding knowingly. I smiled, feeling a connection with her. I spent the afternoon painting, and it felt so good to lose myself in the colors and shapes. My heart felt lighter by the time I left the park. I realized I could still enjoy the things I loved, even after everything that had happened. In the days that followed, I began to explore other interests I had neglected. I signed up for a pottery class and joined a book club. I met new people who were kind and supportive. One evening, during our book club, a woman named Sarah sat down next to me. "Hi, I'm Sarah," she said with a bright smile. "I love your enthusiasm about the book." "Thanks. I just can't believe how much I relate to the characters," I replied, feeling a sense of camaraderie. We chatted about our favorite passages and soon found ourselves sharing stories about our lives. I felt an unexpected warmth in my chest. It was refreshing to connect with someone new. "Have you ever thought about joining a hiking group?" she asked. "It's a great way to clear your mind and meet more people." "I haven't, but it sounds like fun," I said, my heart racing with the idea of new adventures. As the weeks passed, I continued to embrace these moments of self-discovery. I started to learn about self-love. I began writing in a journal, expressing my feelings and reminding myself of my worth. I wrote, "I am enough, just as I am." I also spoke to my friends about my healing journey. During a coffee date, my friend Lisa leaned across the table and said, "I'm so proud of you. You're really coming into your own." "Thanks, Lisa. It's been a process, but I feel like I'm finally starting to understand my value," I replied, feeling gratitude for her support. Each day felt like a new opportunity to reclaim my life. I realized that my worth was never tied to Oliver or his actions. It belonged to me alone. I was learning to love myself, to appreciate my passions, and to create new connections. As I looked in the mirror one morning, I noticed a change in my reflection. The sadness in my eyes was fading, replaced by a spark of resilience. I smiled at myself, knowing that I was on the right path. Healing was not easy, but I was ready to embrace it, one step at a time. As I stood in front of the mirror, I took a moment to truly see myself. The woman looking back at me was different from the one who had been consumed by betrayal and heartbreak. She was stronger now, braver than I ever thought I could be. The scars of Oliver's actions were still there, but they no longer defined me. Instead, they were reminders of how far I had come. I had decided to host a small gathering at my favorite cafe, a place that felt warm and inviting. I wanted to celebrate my newfound independence with the friends who had stood by me. As I arranged the flowers on the table, I felt a flutter of excitement in my stomach. This was my moment. When my friends started to arrive, the cafe filled with laughter and chatter. Sarah, my closest friend, rushed over and wrapped me in a tight hug. "You look amazing. I can't believe how far you've come. This is your night," she beamed, her eyes sparkling with joy. "Thanks, Sarah. I really needed this," I replied, a smile spreading across my face. I felt grateful for her support. It was moments like this that reminded me of the strength I had within me. As the night went on, I shared stories and laughter with my friends. The atmosphere was light, and I could feel the weight of the past slowly lifting from my shoulders. I raised my glass and called for everyone's attention. I just want to say a few words, I began, my heart racing with a mix of nerves and excitement. Tonight, we celebrate not just friendship, but growth. I've been through a lot, and I want to thank each of you for being here for me. Your love and support helped me find my way back to myself. I paused, taking a deep breath. I want to toast to new beginnings and the strength we all have inside us. Everyone raised their glasses, and I felt a warmth in my chest. To new beginnings, they cheered in unison. After the toast, I felt a shift in the energy around me. The air was filled with hope and possibilities. I could see it in my friends' eyes. They believed in me. They saw the new me, the woman who had risen from the ashes of her past. As the night continued, I found myself in a deep conversation with Michelle, another close friend. You know, it's impressive how you turned everything around. I remember when you were so lost, she said, her voice gentle. I nodded, reflecting on those dark days. It wasn't easy, but I realized I had to let go of the pain. I had to stop letting Oliver's actions define my worth, I confessed. That's so powerful. I think a lot of people struggle with that. You've shown us all how to stand up and reclaim our lives, Michelle said, her admiration clear. I smiled, feeling a sense of pride swell within me. Thank you, Michelle. It hasn't been easy, but I've learned that my happiness is my responsibility. I won't let anyone take that away from me again. As the celebration went on, I felt a sense of joy that I hadn't experienced in a long time. The sense of betrayal and sadness was still there, but it no longer had a hold on me. I was learning to embrace my story, to see it as a part of my growth rather than a reason to feel defeated. Later in the evening, as I stood outside the cafe, I took a moment to breathe in the cool night air. I realized that while Oliver's betrayal had shattered my world, it had also opened up new doors for me. I was no longer the woman who was defined by someone else's choices. I was a woman who had emerged unbroken and empowered. Hey, are you okay? Sarah asked, stepping outside to join me. Yeah, I'm great, I replied, turning to her with a smile. I just needed a moment to take it all in. I feel like I can finally breathe again. She grinned, wrapping her arm around my shoulders. You've come such a long way. I'm so proud of you. Thank you, Sarah. I couldn't have done it without you, I said, feeling a warmth in my heart. This was my new beginning, and I was ready to embrace whatever life had in store for me. Share this story if you believe that resilience can help us rise above even the toughest challenges. Leave a comment about a moment when you embraced a new beginning in your life, and subscribe to the channel for more inspiring stories like this one.